3,000! History with an exclamation!
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied. Yankees are champions of baseball.
Okay. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying your night. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We're going to get right into it. Talking New York Yankees. I am currently recording this in the midst of the Knicks getting their doors blown off. That's a good idea for the title. By the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it's the fourth quarter right now. Maybe it's even over. Hopefully it's over. But yeah. So we're going to take our mind off that, or try to, by talking about a guy who I feel like doesn't get enough positive recognition. Not getting a lot of attention right now. Understandably so. Everyone's talking about, the next big thing, and Carlos Rodon and even Elmer Cruz Rodriguez. Said that backwards. They're talking about how good Garrett Cole looks and his return as the ace, and they're talking about, everything, and you got Max Fried being the de facto ace in the meantime. But it just feels like nobody's ever talking about, in a positive way, Carlos Rodon. Whenever he does get attention, it's when things are bad with him. And to some degree, you understand that, but it's also been going pretty well for him as a Yankee, right? This is not 2023 anymore, where it was a bit of a wild ride, right? I mean, he initially comes here with very high expectations off of a great season, signs a $162 million deal, but, he deals with some injuries. He underachieves. There was some drama, some run-ins with Matt Blake, some run-ins with the fans. He gets lit up in that final start. 8 runs, no outs. Has to rent out a cabin in the woods in the offseason, isolate himself, mentally get it right, and it was ugly. But he comes back in 2024. He's healthy. He's in much better shape, and he pitches much stronger. And he puts up ace-like numbers, and he ends up, pitching pretty well in October. So it was a nice bounce back in 2024 in the midst of their World Series run. And then in 2025, last season, he pitched like an actual ace. Arguably a top 30 starting pitcher in baseball last year. He stepped up without Garrett Cole. And he throws 195 in the third innings, strikes out 203 batters, and posts a 3.09 ERA. He was solid versus Boston in his wild card start, but he did struggle against the Blue Jays in the LDS. And then after that, you get the news following October that he was dealing with an elbow injury and he had to get surgery. But you're hoping that he continues to pace himself well and gets back when he's expected to, and that's, from everything we're hearing, late April to early May. And if that's the case, the Yankees have a chance to now have 3 legitimate aces in one pitching staff. And the big if, is that if they can all get healthy at some point this season together. But that's what Rodon was brought here to be. He was brought in to be the second ace to Garrett Cole. And he has shown that the last 2 seasons. A big reason, obviously, being that fastball slider tandem. It's a great 1-2 punch. The 4-seamer, that's been his pitch. It's always had great life, some good break. The slider has always been his best off-speed weapon. Tons of drop. A lot of swing and miss on that pitch. It's a versatile pitch. He can backdoor it. He can back foot it. Lefties, righties. But what's really turned Carlos Rodon's career around with the New York Yankees from where he was when he first came over to where he is now has not been the 1-2 punch of fastball slider. It's been adding in more off speed. And you have got to thank the pitching coach that for some reason everybody wants to give shit for pretty much reviving this guy's career. Matt Blake has saved Carlos Rodon. And two pitches that the Yankees specialize in as a pitching staff are changeups and sinkers, right? And Carlos Rodon came here his first season with the Yankees, primarily, very heavily, four-seam slider. He was 60% four-seam, 29% slider, which means only 11% of the time he threw something else. And so he put up a 6.85 ERA that season, and right-handed hitters had an 8.54 OPS against him in 236 plate appearances. He had nothing to offer right-handed bats, nothing to go the other way on right-handed bats as a left-handed pitcher. And so in his second season with the Yankees, going into that season, in the offseason, he worked on the changeup. And he ended up increasing the changeup's usage by 9%. So he was no longer 60-30 four-seam slider, but he was 49% four-seam, 26% slider, and 13% changeup. And so he put up a 3.86 ERA that year. And righties that season posted a 763 OPS in 601 plate appearances against him. So not great, but significantly better than the figure it was the year before. And then you get to last season, where Carlos Rodon continues to up the usage on the changeup, and he increases the usage on the change an additional 3%. So now you're down to 42% on the four-seam. You're still 28% on the slider, but you're 16% changeup. And so he posts a 3.09 ERA, and righties last year, 608 OPS in 613 plate appearances, an excellent OPS in a very large sample. So he just added variety, right? And it's not just adding another pitch, right? It's not, you hear people say this, it's just a basic take all the time. He needs another pitch. No, it's the fact that he added something to give right-handed bats a different look than the four-seam and a different look than just throwing those back foot sliders all the time. It's something that goes the other way to a righty. Overall, with the Yankees, the numbers on Rodon's changeup have been excellent. And I wonder if Matt Blake, because he used to throw a changeup, but I do wonder if Matt Blake tweaked the grip on it like he's done with some guys. Because he used to throw this with Chicago. It was a horrible pitch, so then he went away from it. But overall, the numbers on Rodon's changeup before he was a Yankee, 290 batting average, 513 slug. Awful. With the Yankees, since incorporating the changeup back into his arsenal again, the changeup has yielded a 189 average and a 265 slug. That's just a stark difference between what it was before meeting Matt Blake and going to his school and after. And it's become a pitch that's just very reliable for him when righties are at the plate. And obviously righties are 3/4 of the league now. But it's a pitch with excellent drop, and so it gets high whiff rates, it gets low exit velocity numbers, and it gets a lot of ground balls. The last two seasons, his changeup has averaged 2.2 more inches of drop than your average lefty changeup. So that's helped into a 42% whiff rate on it the last 2 years, an average of 87 miles an hour in exit velo the last 2 years, and a launch angle average of 5.5 degrees. So in English, The last 2 seasons, he is missing a ton of bats with it. He's getting soft contact a good amount, and he's putting that in, the changeup is being put into the ground a good amount too. So Matt Blake, Sam Brind, the Yankees, they have helped him, and they've helped a lot of guys with their changeups over the years, right? Not just Carlos Rodon, but they helped Ryan Yarbrough make that pitch very effective last year. They are currently working on a changeup with Cam Schlittler that I'm excited to see this spring what it looks like. So that's been the key pitch for me. That's how he's gotten righties. But over the years, if you look at the damage contact on Rodon as a Yankee, that's also gotten better and better. So adding the changeup, but also mixing in the one seam, that sinker that he's starting to throw now. He holds it with a one seam grip. That's caused him to throw less four seam fastballs, and that's caused less damage. His batting average numbers, the exit velos, the home run per 9 numbers, those have all taken steady dips as a Yankee, as in good. That sinker, similar to a changeup, has become a revitalized pitch for him thanks to Matt Blake. His first 2 seasons in the big leagues, he threw the sinker a ton. The next 2 seasons, he used it a lot less, but still a decent amount. And then he went away from the sinker completely for 6 years, where from 2019 to 2024, he threw it a total of 13 times. So he did not use that pitch, basically. And then last year, Matt Blake brought it back, and he changed it from a traditional 2-seam grip on the sinker to a 1-seam grip, and it has gotten really good results. It's got good slash lines, but he really likes using that to lefties because he can jam lefties in on the hands, especially playing it off the slider. He uses it 10% of the time overall, but 31% to lefties, just 3% to righties. Lefties against the 1-seam, 119 average, 143 slug in 50 plate appearances, 87 miles an hour in average exit velocity, in -3 degrees average launch angle. So, again, it's just getting every good result that you want it to get. So, those are the 2 pitches that have helped his fastball play even better the last couple of years. Your 4-seam fastball might be your best pitch, but it can also turn into a weakness if your secondaries aren't great. And adding in 2 really good secondaries out of nowhere like that, or just bringing him back out of nowhere, has revitalized his career. Now, I do wonder at the same time if Carlos Rodon is due for some regression because of a few things. And I want to talk about what I mean when we return from a break real quick here on the show. So stay with us. We'll be back in a minute. Episode 1010 of BD4. Stay with us.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going.
Okay, welcome back to episode 1010, talking about Carlos Rodon in this episode. Entering year 4 of his Yankees career, the veteran left-hander, entering his age 33 season at the same time. So I do wonder, with him getting a bit older, and 33 is usually the last year of your peak, and coming off elbow surgery, with the fastball already starting to dip a bit, you wonder if Rodon can still maintain what he was last year. You know, you're probably going to see a slight decline, in my opinion, Nothing major. There's nothing to really indicate anything major, but the fastball still has similar ride. It's good ride to it. It's got similar run. It's got good arm side action, right? Similar spin as it always did, but it did see a velo dip last year. It went from averaging 95.4 miles an hour in 2024 to 93.7 miles an hour in 2025. So that's the sinker and the four-seamer combined has seen a dip of just a little less than 2 miles an hour in only one season. So that is a decline. And his stuff plus on the four-seam fastball went from 107 to 101 last year. So I wonder if that's going to affect him a lot, especially coming back from that surgery. How much power does he have left in that arm? Can he still get the same amount of soft contact? Can he still get the same amount of swing and miss, the chase, the strikeout totals? That's a big part of his game. Now, the peripherals last year were pretty good. They were very good. I'm going to try to pull it up on my phone here. He was above average in a lot of different things. I got it up here right now. 79th percentile in expected ERA, 85th percentile in expected batting average, 66th percentile in average exit velo, 64th percentile in hard hit rate, 60th percentile in chase rate, 84th percentile in whiff rate, 74th percentile in K rate. The only things that were noticeably poor were his walk rate, which was 9.3%. And, he doesn't get great extension, but everything else pretty good. But yeah, you hope that he's not going to drop off too much. You hope that it doesn't take him too much time to get back into rhythm. There's no guarantees right now after Max Fried, so you would still want him to be your 1B when he gets back in May, as that go-to lefty after Fried. Looking at some of the projections on Fangraphs, they see a steeper drop-off than I would like. The Zips projections have him at a 4.04 ERA in 130 innings with 131 Ks. The Steamer projections have him posting a 3.96 in 162 innings with 175 strikeouts. And the Oopsie projections have him tossing to a 3.90 ERA in 152 innings with 159 strikeouts. So I definitely think he drops off, but I hope that he's still very solid. I hope that he's still enough to be a number 2 starting pitcher. Because again, he was really good last year, and that's not being talked about as much as it should be talked about. So what are your thoughts on Carlos Rodon? Do you think he can continue to pitch well for the Yankees? Do you think this contract will end up a good one? There are only 2 more years left, or I guess 3. It's a 6-year deal, so he's got year 4, 5, 6. So he's got 3 more years. He's halfway through. So far, I would say it's been a win. I think that's, I think that's a fair assessment to say it's unfinished, obviously, but as we are currently standing, the Carlos Rodon contract has not been bad, and that's it's weird. I just felt weird saying that. But that's kind of my point. I feel like we shouldn't feel like that saying that about a pitcher who has consistently 8 innings, consistently missed bats, and has just been pretty good in terms of run prevention. It was that stint he had when he first came over. It was a really bad start, an ugly one. And when you start off that bad, you kind of put a stain on the way people look at you, especially in New York. But I feel like he's been a good Yankee. And I feel like it's also at the same time fair to wonder if he's going to age well, 33, 34, and 35. So that's to be seen. But that's all we got. Carlos Rodon 2026. I'm looking forward to it. And you let me know what you think. And I'll see you all very soon. Go Yanks. Hey guys, thank you for listening to BD4. Be sure to follow us on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time.